So to start off with, I would say the treatment of autism is something that I would like to compare to a marathon and not to a sprint. So it's not something that the parent comes to us and says, okay, how long will it take for my child to be better? How long will it take for my child to be normal? How long will it take? In how many months is my child going to be in a normal school and behave like other kids? I would say that yes, within maybe 3 months also your child can go into the normal category, but it is going to be a marathon where you'll have slowdowns and you'll have pickups, and it might be it mostly is a marathon on a roller coaster. So there might be times when things seem to be going all fine, and then suddenly you have a drop, and then you'll have to pick it up again. So those who have already been in this for some time will understand what I am saying. So I'd like to know in the chat box how many years since you have been diagnosed, or how long have you all been in this with this field. So I think a lot of them do not have a diagnosis yet, and some of them already have diagnosis. So how many years have you been treating your child, and how many years have you been handling these issues with your child? Okay, so as you put that over, most parents come to us for speech delay. Okay, the only complaint they come to us is speech delay. They do not come to us telling that my child has autism. Okay, even if the mother knows, most probably it will be the mother who knows, because there is internet. She would have completely analyzed. She will know, but she does not want to say the word autism. So they come to us for speech delay. So speech is something that cannot be like a target, no? Like a target, like a board, bullseye. Just we take and we strike right on speech. No, we can't do that. Okay. Speech does not just require speech therapy. Speech revolves around the oral motor issues. That is the muscle around the mouth, the tongue, right from the diaphragm, the muscle strength, and how the child perceives how the sounds are coming out of other people's mouth, observes, concentration, understands, and then imitates. So speech is not step one all by itself, but speech is at the end of, say, maybe around 20 steps. So most parents who come to us ask for speech therapy. So will speech therapy help your child? Yes, it will. But just speech therapy will not help your child. So you need to take other services to improve your child, to improve concentration, for your child to start imitating. Maybe you'll have to try out special education. For your child to improve the muscles, you might require physiotherapy or occupational therapy. Depends on each child. Sometimes children come to us very often with feeding issues. Speech delay is very common today in the non-autistic group also, because we are using feeding bottles, sippers, for a very, very long time. So bottles are harmful, a lot of people know, but still they continue using it. Sippers is something that has been not pointed out at all to parents. So both these involve different types of muscles, and not the muscles which are very essential for speech. So number one, for all parents who are here, who do not have a diagnosis, who have a complaint of speech delay, what can you do first? Number one, stop the bottles, stop the sippers, and start training with an open cup. I might say that you might not be able to do it in one day, but you'll have to taper it down and shift over to open cup right from today. Straw is a good idea too. You can try using a straw. Coming to food, we are still giving baby food, Cerelac, Nestum, and mashed potatoes, mashed vegetables, rice which is put in a mixie. All this is going to curtail the development of your muscles. The tone of your muscles around the mouth will not get enough exercise to tone up, to shape up, and help you to bring out that voice. So you'll have to, yes, the child might vomit. Yes, the child might reduce food intake, but you'll have to take the chance and introduce your child to finger food, to solid food, and make sure that every day you go at least one step ahead and make sure that your child moves towards better textures of food, because that is very essential for your child to have a good quality of life. Just achieving the right weight and the right height is just not enough for a child. The child has to have adequate development. And how does speech develop? We need to understand that for you to know how you're going to help your child. When a baby first starts babbling, no, saying ba 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 ba, okay, mother thinks that okay, the baby is asking for a bottle, and then give the bottle. Okay, so the child thinks that okay, so this is the name which I use to ask for a bottle. So then the child uses that very often. So you are teaching your child language, you are reinforcing a particular behavior that the child has come up with randomly. The child was just exploring a sound, and the child was just exploring their own oral motor muscles and making noises. But you reinforced it by saying, giving a meaning to that sound. And so the child impregnated in its brain that this is the word for bottle. Da 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 da. Okay, so the dada gets very joyous. Baby is calling me dada. So the dada goes to the child, makes a lot of faces and saying, oh, you're calling me dada. Here's your dada. Your dada loves you. So the child gets attention when the child makes the sound dada. So the child starts calling the daddy dada, mama mama. Similarly, okay. So how did the child first call their mother amma or appa? All these are sounds that come out of the baby's mouth randomly, and then they are reinforced by attention. I hope you got it. So I'd like to see some response in the chat box so that I'll know that you're with me. Are you able to get the PowerPoint and share it?
Yes, it's shared right now, Doctor. We are on that slide that you were explaining right now.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
So maybe if I go down now, then I can see it. Yeah.
You're able to see, right? Yeah.
Yeah. You can go to the next one.
Okay.
Okay. Speech issues are the issues that they come to us with. Okay. Yes. But always they don't think they should come to us for these problems. But when they come for speech issues, they tell us another thing along with that. That is problem behaviors. My child is throwing tantrums. My child is not listening to me. I can't take my child outside. That my child is misbehaving, going on the floor, and also odd behaviors and odd postures, flapping, making noises. Are you all aware of those things? Yes, they are called problem behaviors. So if you close your eyes and ask yourself, what is the first and most important thing that I want my child to have is, every parent will undoubtedly say, stop the problem behaviors. And yes, it is very right. Stopping the problem behaviors is the most important, because that is what is going to come in the way of learning. That is what is going to come in the way of the child acquiring language. So what can you do for that? Okay, I hope, I don't know if how many of you are hooked on to Netflix. There is a movie called Yes Day. You can go see it later. It's a movie where three children are very difficult to handle, and their parents ask professor what to do, and professor tells them that the teacher tells them, you can go for a yes day, that is, say yes one whole day to everything. So if we ask parents, what would you do to have a no problem day? You can go to the next slide. Most parents will come out with, I won't give them any work. I'll let them go around. I'll let them do what they want. One day I want rest. But is that right? No. You can't allow self-injurious behavior. You can't allow aggression. You can't allow property destruction, and you cannot allow the child to do self-talking. Next slide. So if a choice is given to you, okay, choice 1, choice 2, which one would you choose? I'm sure, read the list. I'm sure that you might be doing this without your knowledge, but it is not choice 1. We cannot allow the child to do what they want and run around, spin in circles, give them chocolates, put them down. I have to go for a wedding. It's very important. So I load the child with chocolates and make the child comfortable and let the child do what they want. No, that is not it. So what can I do? Next slide. This is what we do. We decrease the demands. No demands is not right. So you decrease the demands and you increase the reinforcement. So I want to stop here and tell you what a reinforcement is. Okay, a lot of parents do this without their knowledge. Keep giving the child what the child likes. Okay, so is this a bribery? Is this what you should be doing? No, reinforcement is different from bribery. Go to the next slide. Reducing demands. Okay, say you are trying to include the child in a play school. Okay, and the child is not participating in circle time. The child does not like it. Then you don't allow the child to cry during the whole circle time. Take the child only for the last part of the circle time where they are singing the goodbye. That is reduced demand. So the child starts cooperating for that continuously for at least a month. Then you can take the child 5 minutes earlier. So that is where how you reduce the demand, to reduce the problem behavior. Until the time the other children are doing circle time, you take the child out and do one-on-one engagement. So how do we do reinforcement and not bribery? So reinforcement is not something that you give after a particular good behavior has been done. Reinforcement is something that you give when the child is with you. So I call you to learn. I call you to come to the table and sit with me and work. I will give you something. Okay. I am always paired with something good, something fun. A lot of parents tell me that my child plays with other children, loves to run around behind the other kids, even if he doesn't know what he's doing. He goes to the neighbor's house and tries to play with that child. But when I call him and I try to introduce him to the same toys, he's not participating. So that means something is wrong with the reinforcement that you are giving. Okay. So you'll have to find out what works for the child. What does the child like? What is so attractive in those kids? What are they doing? How are they behaving? Learn from them. Okay. You have to become a child. You have to play with the child in such a way that the child likes you. So first you have to pair yourself with your child. So how do I get my child to concentrate? How do I get my child to stop doing problem behaviors? How do I get my child to learn from me? Okay. So that is first thing, load yourself with reinforcements. Next slide. All of you will be familiar with stimming. Stimming is another word for problem behavior, that is self-stimulatory behavior. You can click. Okay. So that is rocking, humming, making vocal noises, spinning, flapping, and saying some lines from movies or from rhymes irrelevantly as they are playing or running around. Okay. My child sings a lot of rhymes. My child can say so many things, but he is not saying it when I'm asking him to say. I hope you can relate to that. Yes, that is called scripting. Is that good? Is that bad? I would say there is good and bad in that. Your child is able to pick up words. That's good. But if the child is going to engage themselves with their own set of routines, then it is going to be difficult for us to attract them with our what we have, what reinforcements that we have. But is stimming bad? Stimming is always equalized to a bad word. I want to tell you that all of us stim. I stim, you stim, everybody stims. Stimming is nothing but you engage your brain, okay, when it is not actively engaged. For example, sitting and watching TV on a holiday, okay, doodling at the back of the bench when the class is boring, checking your hair, checking your Facebook, checking your news feeds, okay, playing video games at the back bench. These are all stimming. Okay. So why do we do it? We do it because our brain neurons are not actively engaged with firing. Okay. So we want our neurons to keep firing. So we start engaging in other tasks. Similarly, your child with autism also keeps engaging in tasks which the child can do. Next slide. So why does an autistic child stim more than a typically growing child? Because a typically growing child can engage in language, can interact with others, can engage in leisure skills like a child can go and play in a slide, find a window and climb on it. The child knows and the child is comfortable with engaging. But an autistic child does not have these skills. The child has restrictions, sensory issues. The child cannot engage by itself. So the child engages itself, starts flapping their own hands, making noises with their own voice. So from this slide itself, you can know what are you expected to do. What you don't have, you have to acquire. So you'll have to work on the language, you have to work on the social skills, you will have to work on the leisure skills. If you teach the child these things, the child is going to stop stimming. Can you slap the child or tell the child to stop? No. Next slide. So first we have to assess. Anything that we do, we first assess the situation, because each situation is different, each behavior is different. So what does the stimming look like? Is the child making noises which are sounds which are related to some words, or is the child just making random noises? Is the child observed for around 30 minutes? How many times does it occur? Does it occur more in a particular time? Like, for example, does it occur more when you're trying to feed the child? Is it occurring more when the child is in a school setup? And where does it not occur? When the child is watching TV, the stimming does not occur. Okay, you'll have to jot it down. I wouldn't say television or digital media is what you have to go to for autistic children. But if that is what is reinforcing your child's good behavior, then we can use it diligently. I'll teach you how to use it diligently. Next slide. So what should you do? Okay. You cannot fight every battle. No, we have a battle with China. We have a battle with Pakistan. We have a battle with Afghanistan. We have a battle with Sri Lanka. How many battles can we battle at a time? We can only battle one battle at a time. Okay. We have only so much resources. So choose your battle. Okay. Only choose the most dangerous habits and focus on only that. Ignore the rest of the activities. The child is making noises and it is not troubling anybody. You cannot pick it up right away. Okay. Do not tell the child, stop making noises, stop digging your nose, stop pulling your hair, stop biting into things. You can't tell that. Because if you're going to bring attention to that activity, the child does not have the maturity to understand that stop means I should stop. The child will think that this has been spoken about more and it will only reinforce the activity. The child will do it more. So you cannot advise an autistic child, an autistic or rather any child. Do not bring attention to activities which you do not want to bring attention. Okay. So you cannot, it's not a bullseye. You cannot target it directly. You'll have to work around it. You have to improve the good behavior. You have to bring attention to good behavior. You have to teach the child language skills. Okay. I'm making a lot of noise because I actually want to play with the ball and the ball is not reachable to me, but I don't know how to put it across to my mother. So you'll have to identify why the child is behaving this way and teach the child to ask for a ball. Until the child develops language, it's not right to stop the child from gesturing. You can teach the child to gesture, you can teach the child to point. That will reduce your stimming. That is more better for us than allowing the child to stim. Sometimes when parents bring children to our center and put the child in classes, they leave the child with us and they go and they do some work and they come back to pick up the child. Okay. So say there is a 2 hours class, okay, and another class going on right after that. Is it okay to leave the child for half an hour extra where the child thinking that the child will engage themselves with other children in the next batch? Do you think that's right? A lot of parents think that just by spending time with other children, the autistic children will pick up skills. That's absolutely not true. I am a big proponent of inclusion. Yes, inclusion is my dream. But what I have realized over the last 11 years of trying to do inclusion is that we cannot do inclusion without having a proper process. We cannot do inclusion before getting the child ready. If we try to include the child in a setting and the child actually develops stimming, it is going to be, you are going to do more harm than good to the child. So just leaving the child around and asking the helpers and the teachers to take care of the child while you finish your work is not the right thing. You'll have to make sure if the child is not going to be actively engaged in the class, the child should not be left behind. Whatever the child has learned, the child is going to spoil it by developing more stimming behavior. So in an inclusion school, if you're going to go and put a child in a school, you should think whether they can engage the child for the entire time or should you take it slow. Okay. And take the advice of the people who are handling the child. If they are saying the child cannot be engaged more than half an hour, listen to them, bring the child back or ask for assistance or you stay behind and engage the child. Next slide. So no behaviors can be stopped. Okay, they can only be replaced. So don't say stop. Don't beat the child in the hand when the child is putting the hand in the mouth. You cannot stop the behavior. The child will not understand. Okay, you can only replace it with more functional activities. So 95% of treating autism, 95% of teaching your child, I would say not only an autistic child, any child would be handling with their problem behaviors, handling with their barriers to learning. So that 95% you will achieve if you enhance the functional skills. If the child is able to do a lot of things by themselves, then the child will reduce the problem behaviors. So how will I handle my child with problem behaviors? One thing, if you take from me, number one, don't talk about the behavior to the child. Don't advise the child. Don't beat the child. Don't ask the child to stop. Two, you'll have to work on enhancing the skills of the child. Three, see where the child is enjoying and allow the child to do just that. And in that, you can add slowly what you want to teach. Next slide. So this is what I want to tell you first, because most parents come to us for speech delay and problem behaviors. Now I'm going to tell you about what we are going to talk about, the steps that you're going to take at home. So for that, you should know what behavior is. Behavior is anything that a living being says or does. So behavior is not only what a human being does, but also language is a behavior. Next slide. So what is applied behavior analysis? Applied behavior analysis is when you understand the cause of the behavior and then apply procedures based on the research that the researchers have done and convert behaviors to socially acceptable forms. So I leave the slide on. You can read it up. So what the whole procedure of how you should handle the child lies in one, understanding why your child is behaving so. Why is my child not responding to name call? Why is my child not coming to learn? Why is my child not repeating what I am saying? Why is my child not playing with other children? Why is not my child not picking up language? So understanding the cause of that behavior. So behavior is not only what they do, behavior is also what they do not do. Okay. And then based on your assessment, understanding the cause, you have to apply certain procedures. Next slide. There are two types of behaviors. Okay. One, they are called operants. Operants are behaviors which are motivated. Okay. So I have a motive. Okay. My mother will clap for me if I put this, say the name of this flashcard. Okay. Then I'm going to say it. My mother will give me chocolate if I touch the right flashcard. Okay. My mother will show me a small video clipping if I'm going to clap my hands when she asks me to clap my hands. Okay. I like to clap my hands. It's fun. Okay. Then I'm going to do it. So these are all operants. When someone does something because of the consequence they enjoy. Okay. So they can be natural consequences or they can be artificial consequences. Okay. This is very important. I hope you understood that. Next, reflexive behaviors. Behaviors which we cannot control. Okay. Like for example, drooling of saliva. Okay. Tics. So these are all behaviors which we cannot control. We will require other therapies for this. Okay. That is the physiotherapy or medication for behaviors that we cannot control. So I'll leave the slide on For a while, you can maybe take a screenshot and reflect on this. Okay, so behaviors which are operants and behaviors which are reflexive, behaviors which can be motivated, behaviors which are motivated naturally, and behaviors which need not be motivated but they happen automatically. So as you can see clearly, we are going to be working only around the operants. Next slide. So what are the behaviors, problem behaviors? Okay. Before we go on to the operants, I will list out why we behave. I told you we have to analyze why my child is behaving in this way. I'm sure you'll identify all these four. And these are the words that every parent use. Just he's seeking attention. Just because he wants attention, he's doing this. Okay. He wants to avoid the situation. He does not want to write. Okay. If he wants something, he just goes on the flow. Okay. And the last one is automatic. Okay. That is self-stimulatory behavior, that is stimming. Okay. How many of you think that this is what you know? My child is doing this for attention. My child is doing this for avoidance. Yes, you're absolutely right. These are the four reasons that any of us behave in any way. I behave for attention. I do certain things so that I get the attention of people. Yes. And I will do it again if I get a lot of attention. Okay. Today, I'm talking to you. If you're going to give me good attention, if you're going to give me good response, I'm going to talk the same way to you again, to many more people. Okay. I'm going to avoid certain things if it is something that I cannot do. I want to avoid. Okay. Now I will tell you why we avoid things a little later. I want access to certain things. Okay. So I do certain things to get access to it. Okay. I put out my hand and try to pick up something. Okay. I go around and move all the heavy things and try to enter a certain place so that I can pick up something. Okay. So children do that very often. When they come to my clinic, they climb over the table and try to come to my side so that they can pick up the different things which are there on my side. The dustbins which are very colorful, they like to pick them up. Okay. So access, they do things to get access. Automatic reinforcement, that is, I like my voice. I like the sound of clapping. Okay. I like the feeling of clapping. So I do it again and again. Again, this is very important. So when you are analyzing your child's behavior, think, take a book, write it down, take a calendar. Okay. With a day, you can take a monthly planner. Okay. It's a very good idea to have a monthly planner and write down, my child behaved badly in the shopping mall, and then think why. Okay. And write down, he wanted access to particular toy. Okay. So write it down. Over a week, when you see all these behaviors, you'll know where all your child is behaving badly and why. Next slide. So your child is seeking attention. Okay. After your child seeks attention and gives you bad behavior, you are going to respond to the child? No, don't do that. That is very difficult to handle a situation after we have got into it. We have got into COVID virus situation. Okay. It's very difficult. We are struggling to come out of it. Okay. So before it comes, we have to try to prevent it. So what can we do to prevent it? Okay. If the child wants attention, the child should be able to ask for it. So teach the child to tap your shoulder, teach your child to say the word, teach your child to maybe show a picture. You might be familiar with the system of PECs, where they use pictures. Children can use pictures. So when children use PECs method, are they never going to talk? No. Okay. It is a good way to stop the problem behavior. So speech delay, problem behavior, both are equally bad. So for you to achieve speech, you have to reduce the problem behavior. So giving the child even a pictures, tell the child, I want to go to the toilet. This is the picture, toilet, pointing. Okay. That will reduce the child's bad behavior seeking for attention. Okay. Set up a schedule for a whole day. It is very important that you have a board in your house, a timetable, just like how we have in schools. Okay. Write down which teacher is going to which class and what is she going to do. So mommy is going to handle this child for breakfast. Okay. Daddy is going to take the child for a walk. So tomorrow I have to go grocery shopping. Then I will tell daddy to stay back and take over my time. That is very important. Assessing is very important. Number one, assess the situation. Number two, planning, 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 planning. Okay, planning is the most important to avoid the problem behaviors. Okay, I've repeated it many times to reinforce the word planning. So have a table, have paper stickers to write down, okay, what you are doing and how you're doing it. Have a diary to jot down what you have observed. Okay, so assessing, planning. Okay, then you have to include in the schedule surplus reinforcing activities. I will teach my child alphabets for 20 minutes. I will teach my child numbers for 20 minutes. It's very important that my child learns alphabets and numbers. My child is 5 years old. Okay, he cannot go without learning alphabets, numbers. It's very important. My child is 9 years old, very, very old. He cannot go without learning alphabets, numbers. I'm very sorry. Your child cannot learn alphabets, numbers if you do not handle the problem behaviors, if you do not enhance speech. So, putting the child in a class where the teacher is going to teach your child writing is not going to help the child go out in the world and have a life. Okay, there are people in the world who live without reading and writing skills, but there is nobody who's living a normal life without knowing how to ask for their demands, how to go to the toilet, and how to eat by themselves. Okay, there is nobody living in the world who is functional and accepted by people easily if they are going to make noises. Okay, so what is more important? If you're going to spend 2 hours on academics, remember you have to spend the rest 22 hours on handling the problem behaviors, working for the problem behaviors. So the schedule should have maybe 2 periods of teaching, but say you have a day of 8 periods, then 6 periods of having fun. So what is the benefit of this child putting this ball in this and playing, looking at it and laughing and clapping? What is the benefit? The benefit is that the child is happy. Okay, a child being happy is the most important thing. Okay, the most important goal. Only if the child is happy, the child is going to cooperate. Okay, the child is going to be playing with a fidget spinner. Okay, is a fidget spinner a useful toy? Yes, very, very much. The child is going to be playing with sand. Okay, is that useful? The child is putting the sand in the mouth. It's okay, you get non-toxic sand today. Okay, the child is playing with a baby toy. My child is 9 years old. My child is playing with a baby toy. Okay, my child can sit for hours together playing with a baby toy, but cannot concentrate on writing. That's okay. Okay, the child has to be happy. Only then the child can work on the target that you're putting forth, on the demand that you are putting forth. So for 8 positives, you have to give one teaching. You're all with me, right? You're able to hear? Okay, so when you're going to place demands, you have to make sure that the child is able to do at least 8 things. So I select flashcards. Okay, I select 10 flashcards. Okay, and I'm going to teach, this is forehead. Okay, it is a tough one. Okay, I'm going to teach knee. It is a tough one. Then that's it. I don't pick up any more from this pile. Okay, I have to pick up from this other pile, which has balloon. My child knows balloon. Okay, my child knows cow. Okay, but body parts and balloon, they don't go together. Okay, I don't care. Okay, there is no point in teaching the child head, shoulders, knees, toes. No, the child is not going to know that this is the head, this is the shoulder, this is the knees, this is the toes. There's no point the child saying those words if the child can only say it in that order. So if you're going to teach body parts, along with it, add other things. Okay, as soon as you pick up something like this, the child should not think, okay, there are 4 things my mother taught of when this girl is pointing towards something, it should be one of it. No. Okay, so you have to mix up all categories and teach. Okay, and only 2 should be new, 8 should be what the child already knows, and more better if the child likes it. Okay, child likes pizza, have it as one of the picture. Okay, So this is what is the major point for the parent who's asking, how can I develop my child's concentration, attention? Okay, you can develop your child's attention if you're going to demand less. Okay, it's going to be slow, but you're going to get more cooperation and your child is going to actually learn faster. Okay, by mixing the known words with the unknown words and giving a mixture of activities. So continuously, if I'm going to ask, what is this? What is this? What is this? What is this? The child will be very cooperative in the beginning, but when I come to it the second time, the child is not going to be cooperative. So I can ask, what is this? Do this. Okay. Do this, jump. Okay. Play. Okay. Play with this. Then go back to, what is this? Okay. That way, the child will be more cooperative. This is the most important thing. I hope you got that. So today, I want you to pick up a table in your house, sit down, keep these things. I want to show you my table. Okay. I'm just turning around. You see the number of toys I have and the number of flashcards I have. Okay. I have one box of flashcards and I have at least 15 toys. Okay. So the table which I work in will have at least 15 toys and just one set of flashcards. Okay. So that's the table you have to make in your own house. Okay. I'm going to come to you again about the table. Okay. Next part. So you have not prevented it. You have come into that situation. Yes, all of us do the same. We try our best, but still we get into some situations. So the child is seeking your attention. And if you're going to give the child your attention, okay, even an angry face, that is going to reinforce the child's behavior. Okay, so don't show any emotion. Okay, just either divert the child or go to another, you do another activity. Okay, and then wait for 5 seconds, come back, and then give the child attention. Okay, don't let the child go on and on. Okay, and then you can tell the child, you can call me, I will come to play with you. I have a video for that. You can play the next slide.
Doctor, I don't think that video is
It is playing?
playing. There's
Okay, no
some,
problem.
yeah,
Okay.
there's some problem with the
Okay.
type
Then
conversion.
you can go on to the next slide.
Next slide. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. Let's go on to the avoidance. Okay. Okay. So the very big complaint of all parents is, my child knows everything. It's just that he wants to avoid to do it. Okay. Why would someone avoid to do something that they know very well? Everybody wants to shine. Everybody wants to show off, including your child. If I know something, I want to tell you that and make you happy and make you clap. Okay. But if the child is avoiding the situation, that means the demand is too high. Okay. So then you have to go back. Okay. You're trying to teach the child words. Okay. The child is struggling. You have to go back to phonetics. Teach the child the phonetics, reinforce it again, make it thorough, and then come back to the words. Okay. You'll have to go back and forth throughout your journey. There is nothing wrong. Okay. When we teach children who are in 8th standard a physics lesson, we do go back to the 7th standard portions for reference. Okay. Everybody needs to be reminded and to be given revision. Okay. So it is okay. Okay. I'm sure I cannot tell you every bone in my body. Okay. I am a doctor. I should know the names of all the bones in my body. No, I'm sorry, I forgot. Okay. So everybody needs revision. Okay. So going back and revising the basics and then coming back to the task in which your child is trying to avoid will get you there fast, rather than pushing the child and making the child do it with force. Okay. So reduce the demands and then gradually reintroduce them when the skills have improved. Okay. You can prompt. Do a lot of prompting. Give the success to the child. Okay. If the child thinks the child is actually doing it all by themselves, okay, can you hold the child's hand and write? Is it the right thing to do? Yes. Okay, it is the right thing to do. Okay, you can hold the child's hand to write. You can show the head and say, what is this? Head. You can say that. The child can repeat. Yes, that is good enough. Immediately, I can give this to the child and say, hey, go play. Okay, play, and then I can ask the next thing. The child will be happy. The child has been rewarded. The child has told something right. But actually, the child only repeated your word. The child does not know this as head. Next time you ask the child again, after the child plays, what is this? And wait for 3 seconds, the child might actually say head without your prompting. Okay, so it will happen. So prompt, if you see the child is not answering for 3 seconds, don't say, I have taught you so many times. I have told you this. Why can't you understand? Don't do that. The child is going to make a lot of noise and run away. Okay, so give the answer and move on. Okay, give the answer. When the child has failed, you have to make sure the child does not go into a demotivated mode. You have to motivate with something else. Immediately give something that the child knows very well and ask that, let the child win. Okay, what is this? Pizza. Very good. Okay, so the child has got back to track. I know so many things. When I fail once, I need at least 4 wins to get over the demotivation of my failure. Okay, so what is this? Balloon. Okay, then continuously I get 4 rights: cow, ball, then I go back to elbow. Okay, I don't keep going on and on and on asking the child. I have to immediately switch to something that the child likes, something the child knows, make the child feel like, yes, I'm actually a successful on a successful journey. I can get it. So I get 4 rights. The 5th one, it will come naturally. Okay, it can come. If it doesn't come, give a prompt and move on. Don't thrive on the child's failure. Okay, next slide. So that is how you prevent avoidance. But now the child has started avoiding. Then what you do? You restart the prompting. Okay, and you either notice the child needs a break, or you teach the child to ask for a break. Okay, you notice that the child is slipping away, the child is looking elsewhere, then you don't turn the face and block the child in a corner, hold the child down and try to teach. No. Okay, the child is slipping away, then you go for the immediately, I've done only 2 flashcards, the child is slipping away. Okay, stop it, nothing more is going to work. Okay, give the child a toy, let the child play. Okay, relax, play. Then when the child has played enough, go back. Okay, next slide. Access. Okay, so the child behaves badly because they want something. Okay, if they want something and they can ask for it, that is better. Okay, so teach the child more and more words. So every parent that comes to me during this lockdown, okay, for vaccination, they tell me, my child can say ABCD. Okay, and they sing ABCD, they sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Okay, I clap for them and they go away. Okay, but is this what the parents should be doing? No. Okay, the children should be taught what should they ask for. Food, mum, okay, kakka, chuchu, okay, tanni, water. Okay, these are the needs the child has and the child wants to ask. So before you pick up your vegetable chart, before you pick up your fruit chart, you have to pick up common items, okay, of the child. Body parts. My head is paining, I have to know this is the head. Okay, so if I can't say head is paining, at least I will say head. Okay, so the parent will understand something is wrong with the head. Okay, so body parts and things that are around you, things that your child needs to ask. Food items, idli, dosa. Okay, that is more important than teaching the lion and tiger. I don't know whether your child is ever going to have any benefit by telling that this is the tiger. Okay, so that is not essential. Okay, don't build up on a lot of vocabulary. It's not going to be useful for your child. Build up on vocabulary that is around you, which the child can say out, to go out. Open, because they want to open the door and go out. Okay, play, because the child wants to play. So this is more functional, and that you can teach with flashcards, with charts, with books. You can do the same procedure, but only first achieve everything. The child should be able to communicate, converse. My child knows a lot of words, but they cannot participate in a conversation because you have not taught the words which are essential for a conversation. You've only taught words which are coming in the books. Okay, so this is what you do to prevent the child having tantrums when the child wants something. You teach the child how to ask. Okay, go on. Next, it has happened. Now, how do you respond? Okay, you count 5, wait, and then you tell the word for the object and give it to the child. Okay, if you think it is a knife or it's something to do with fire and you can't give it, okay, then you can distract the child, go to another activity, or give the child some other activity which the child will enjoy. Okay, but every time you hand over the item that the child is asking you, tell the name of the object and give it. Don't ask the child. You say biscuit, then only I'll give biscuit. You say biscuit, then only I'll give biscuit. Don't do that. Okay, the child will only get more and more agitated. Okay, the child knows that he is a failure. The child knows that he is not able to satisfy your expectation of him. As it is, that is very demotivating. So don't demotivate the child more. Don't scare the child. It is not going to work. Next slide. So the last one is automatic or self-sensory stimulation. Okay, so this we spoke about stimming. So how to prevent stimming? You have to enrich the environment with activities that will engage your child. Music, color, toys. Okay, I bought so many toys for my child, but my child does not enjoy it. It's not that I have not loaded the environment with stimulation, doctor. I have done everything. Okay, my house is like a play school, but still my child does not play with all those things. Yes, it is very common. Okay, it is not your fault. It is that the child does not relate with these items. You'll have to introduce each item to the child slowly and then pair the child with those items. Okay, you have to sit and observe what your child actually enjoys. If your child enjoys tapping on a vessel, then that is the toy that you have to keep in your child. Keep different sizes of vessels. Keep ladle, spoon. Okay, make a whole drum set with the vessels. Observe your child. See what your child likes and enrich the environment with just that. Okay, tapping on a vessel is a self-stimulatory behavior, but when it is under your control, the child is allowed to do it at this time. The child is doing it. There is nothing wrong. Okay, because without stimulation, without sensory satisfaction, none of us can live. Okay, and schedule. Okay, schedule a lot of preferred activities. Okay, so schedule, if the child likes to play outdoor, schedule a lot of outdoor. Okay, household chores, very important thing is that a lot of parents don't realize that children actually enjoy working. I don't enjoy working, but children enjoy working. They like to be in the kitchen, they like to cook, they like to bake, because that is something that they see the adults doing and they think it is a very nice thing to do, something enjoyable. They like to mop, they like to clean. So when they are at that stage, it's good to engage them in a lot of household chores. Self-care skills. Okay, washing hands. I will not allow my child to play with water. I will not allow my child to go into the bathroom because he will get a cold. I'm sorry, he will get a cold anyways. Okay, and you can treat it later. Your child should know how to moderate water, wash their hands. The child should be able to allow to play in water. Okay, so you can control it, but you should allow all these things during the day. Next slide. So it has happened. Now what to do? Okay, count 5, and then if you immediately respond to the activity, then the child will get reinforced. So in the slide, you should come and give another activity and divert the child. Okay, so these are the 4 A's. Okay, that is access, avoidance, attention, and automatic. Reasons for bad behavior, okay, and good behavior. So you have to identify why my child is behaving this way today. Why did my child suddenly start shouting when this person came inside the house? Okay, maybe the child is relating that particular person with some particular demand. Okay, the child wants your attention because you're looking at that person. The child wants your attention. So figure it out, write it down, and make sure that next time when this person is going to come, you give enough attention to your child, and along with your child, you welcome that person. So this is how you handle behavior problems. Next slide. So handling behavior problems is 95% of your task. 5% is skill development. And how do you do that? Okay, you have to shape the behavior. Okay, you have to shape the behavior. That is, you get the child to do that behavior. Okay, so you make the child touch it. Okay, touch elbow, touch elbow. Okay, then say elbow. Okay, so when the child has done touch elbow many times, you have three cards. Okay, touch elbow, touch eyebrow, touch finger. Okay, the child is touching correctly. Now you say elbow, say elbow. Okay, so you shape the behaviors one by one, from one task to the other. Start from a slow demand, less demand, and then shape it to the higher demand. Okay, chaining. Okay, you want the child to go to the toilet. Okay, it is a number of activities involved in going to the toilet. Okay, number one, the child has to pull the pants down. Okay, then sit on the potty. Okay, then go to the toilet, pee in the toilet. Okay, then pull up the pants. Okay, wash your hands. Okay, so this is a chain of activities. Okay, so what you do is one by one you can tell the child, steps. Okay, you can also use visuals. You can use visuals. You can put pictures where the child can see what the child has to do one after the other and follow it. You can use albums where you can take a picture of the child and put it inside and turn the page and show the child. Now pull your pan down. Next, sit on the potty. Next, you pee in the potty. Next, you wash your hands. Okay, take the mug. Okay, pour the mug. So when you pour the mug, you pour water 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Okay, then you pull up your pants. Walk to the basin, open the tap, show your hand below the tap, rub 1, 2, 3. So you can do 1, 2, 3 rubbing pictures. Okay, then press the soap 1, 2, 3. Okay, then rub 1, 2, 3. Show the water in the water, finish, and then wipe in the towel. Okay, so all these steps can be in an album. Okay, I would prefer an album rather than a chart, because the chart the child might get confused with so many pictures. So you can show the child an album. Also, you can show the child videos. You can do the entire procedure and show the child video. What did you do first? What did you do next? What did you do next? The child can see and do. Pause, pause. Child can finish the activity, then you can play. The child can see it and then detect it. This is called video modeling. So this is chaining. Okay. There was a question about toilet training. So these are some of the methods you can use. Okay. Prompting, which I already introduced you to. Prompting. Fading the prompt. Okay. So when you think the child is thorough, you fade the prompt. Okay. Extinction of bad behavior. Extinction of bad behavior is by assessing and finding what the cause is and then responding accordingly. Next slide. So in skill development and behavior management, we have a core principle called ABC, that is antecedent, behavior, consequence. Okay, so it is tea time and we are going to have tea. Okay, so how do you introduce that to the child? Okay, in the schools they ring a bell. Okay, for lunchtime. Okay, all of us have a watch in our hands. Every room has a clock. Can't the teacher see that this is time for tea and then break and ask the children to go have the snacks? Why are they ringing the bell? Okay, this is to reinforce that it is time to have tea. So that is called antecedent. Okay, so you give the child some antecedent. Okay, go and pray. You wake up after the afternoon nap, wash your hands. Okay, wash your face and then go and pray. Okay, after you pray, you go to the snack area and then you eat. After snack, what do? You go and sit and do some activities. Okay, so this is antecedent. So when the child is having a snack, the child knows the child is expected to move on to the next activity. So that is the antecedent. Okay, I switch on the lights. I say, okay, playtime. Then the child knows it is the playtime. So that is the antecedent. So when you're planning any activity and you want concentration, you want attention, you want the child to cooperate, you have to always have a very elaborate antecedent. Then the behavior occurs. The child comes, sits, plays. Once the child plays, you should reinforce clapping, very good, give toys to play. Okay, when you read, you play. When you write, you play. But you do one page, I will give you this. No, that is bribing. Okay, as the child is doing, you can stop in the middle and give the child an activity. The child can finish 2 pages, then you can give the child a fun activity. So you have to vary the reinforcement and make sure that it doesn't become a bribery. Okay, so to teach any sub skill, you have to divide it into portions. So just like how I told you how to divide the toilet training. Okay, change you have to start from pulling the pant down to going on to the closing the tap and wiping the hands. Okay, so teach one sub skill at a time. Okay, now today you are going to pull the pant down. Okay, pull it up, pull the pant down, pull it up. Okay, this we can teach outside the bathroom. Okay, I'm going to teach you hand washing separately. Okay, I'm going to teach you opening the tap, closing the tap separately. Okay, so in different places I will teach the child all these sub skills. Only then I go and put it all together in the toilet train. Okay, without teaching these sub skills, I cannot teach pull the pan down, go to the potty, then take the mug, pour the water, count, pull it back, wipe. All these things you cannot teach together. So each thing you will keep doing outside the bathroom many times. Only then you couple it with the potty. Yeah, you can do pull the pan down during dressing. You can do hand washing before snack. You can do dressing and undressing every day. Okay, so all these things, opening and closing the tap during water play time, all these things can be done. Okay, and when you're sure that the child has got all these sub skills, have a checklist, pick everything. All these sub skills are there, thorough. Then I go and introduce these things in the bathroom. Okay, and as for every other activity that you do on the table, even the bathroom skills should be reinforced. Okay, in the bathroom, I can say play music, I can put some stickers, I can have some wall toys so the child can play. I can have a mirror the child can see. Okay, I can have reinforcement procedures. Next slide. What is instructional control? Okay, that is something that every parent that used to come to me, all these used to say they don't have and they don't want to try. They think that it is not possible. He does not listen to me, he listens to you. So I will come for 2 hours of therapy rather than 1, because you are able to achieve it, I am not able to achieve it. Okay, but what the lockdown taught most of us is that you even parents can get this instructional control. And there are a lot of parents who have proven this in my center. They have taught me the lesson that parents can do therapy. Okay, so what is instructional control? That is, the child listens to your instruction and responds to it and gives you the desired response. So there is if there's one thing that you're going to do after my entire talk is achieve instructional control over your child. It is not going to happen in one day. Over the next 2 months or 3 months with all these methods, then my talk is a success. Next slide. Most of this I have told you earlier. Okay, I'm going to run through this really fast. Okay, how to achieve instructional control? Okay, you have to pair a table. Okay, I pair a person with another person. Okay, like that, I pair a table. Okay, I have a small table which can be lifted easily even by the child. Put in a corner, don't use it for anything. Okay, we are going to play at that time. What you do after maybe snack, you come, switch on the light, pull the table. It can be done in the living room. Okay, you can sit on the sofa and have a small chair for the child. Chairs for the children, if they're having full all side, if it's big and the child can rest back, it would be good. Okay, so the child doesn't have to move around and shake around. Okay, and the child's feet should be on the floor. Okay, so the child feels balanced. Okay, so pairing a table, keeping the child comfortable. Even for 3 to 4 months, you can just do pairing and nothing else. No teaching in your house. Every evening, only pairing. Observe what the child likes. Look at various things. These are some choices. Okay, so I can show you some of these things. Okay, a hammer box. Okay, so all this is available in Amazon. There's a ball here. They have to hammer it down. Okay, they like all these easy skills. Okay, Mr. Potato Head. Okay, it's an expensive toy. It's a very good investment. Okay, to teach body parts. Okay, and picture books and pegboards. I'm sure most of you will be very familiar. Bubbles. Okay, flashcards. And there's one new thing that I'd like you to see. It's called Shoebox. Okay, so this is designed by a behavior analyst called Dr. Mary Barbara from USA. Okay, so most of the things that I'm telling you today is from her course which I went through. Okay, anything you want to teach, body parts to phonetics, whatever you want to teach, okay, you can teach with just this one box. Okay, so how do you use this box? Okay, it's just a tissue box. You can use a shoebox, make a slit on it. Okay, it's actually called the Shoebox Program. I want the child to say k, k, k. Okay, so will the child immediately repeat? No. Okay, so I say k, 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 and give it to the child and ask the child to put it inside. Can the child put this inside? Yes. Okay, so the child has done something. Okay, and the child has listened to me. If I'm going to go on showing flashcards, the child will not listen to me. I give the child something to do, the child will do it. So this is Shoebox Program. You can start with this. It is very easy. You can start with just 10 cards, okay, of very easy items that the child already knows, and then pair the shoebox and then introduce things that the child doesn't know. After some time, you can wait for 3 seconds. Ka, ka. If the child is saying, wonderful. Okay, the child does not say, you say ka and give it to the child, let the child put it in. Okay, I hope you got that. Okay, so you can have crayons, you can have any musical instruments. Okay, can a 9-year-old child play with a Peppa Pig toy? Can a 9-year-old child just do this? Just put this inside? Yes. Okay, your child is having developmental delay. So however old the child is, it's very important to keep pairing the child with the place you're going to work. Okay, next. And then even play imitation like a tea set. Okay, all those things you can have, Barbie doll, all that. So reinforcement is not bribing, and you should not say, if you do this, I will let you go and play outside. No, the child should want to be with you, not work to go outside. Okay, so don't say that. Reinforcement is something that you keep giving. Okay, I'd like to give you a metaphor here. Okay, we have servants. Okay, we have gardeners. Okay, we give them salary. Okay, and there are some times when we give them something extra. Okay, they work in my house, I'll give them some leftovers. Okay, I'll give them some old clothes. Okay, so these are the things that are reinforced. Okay, I give them something for festivals. Okay, so these are reinforcements, they are not the salary. Okay, but many people stay back in many people's house just for this reinforcement. It is the same thing. Okay, if you do your work well, I'm going to give you reinforcement. No, if you stick on to me, I will give you reinforcement. Okay, so he's a good driver, he's a bad driver, he's a good plumber, he's a bad driver, plumber, whatever. Okay, I still give him reinforcements because I want him to stick on to me. So it is not bribing, it is reinforcement. I hope you got it. Next slide. Similarly, your child wants to be with you. You want the child to be with you. You want the child to participate in the activities that you're introducing. You keep giving the child what the child likes. Okay. Can you use food as reinforcement? Yes, you can use chocolates, you can use biscuits. Okay, but in small quantities. One biscuit, you can make it into 8 pieces. Okay, and keep giving the child and make the child participate. Can you give the phone as a reinforcement? Yes, you can have videos that you have made, okay, for the child to see. You singing, the teacher singing. Okay, you can give 30-second small clippings from the YouTube. Yes, you can. But as soon as that clipping is over, you have to go back to work. You have to transfer very fast. Okay, so no, my child will not allow that. My child will pull the phone and try to throw it. Then that is not the right reinforcement. You have to avoid that. Okay, then comes the something that is what to say, a cunning thing that I'm going to tell you. Okay, you want your child to love you, you want your child to come and play with you. So what do? You remove all the toys that the child likes from the room and keep it under your control. Okay, you put it in a box or you put it in a shelf which only you have access. You put it in a room only you can open. Okay, so the child can come there only and get it. The child cannot take it out. That is called sanitizing the room. That is, you clear the room of anything that can be more wonderful than just you. Okay, so put everything beside you, only you can take and give it. Okay, is the child going to cry and make tantrums for this? No, you have to continuously keep giving the toys and make the child happy. you're going to pair the child only with the toys, but only thing is it is with you. Okay, so the child knows, the child just enters the room, the child will get all that he wants. When you've got full control, then you start introducing items. It might be a month or two to complete pairing. And once you have paired and started your teaching, you might have to repair after a holiday, after an illness. You might have to again start pairing the room, pairing the schedule many times. Okay, so there are going to be ups and downs, and you'll have to keep doing it. Okay, so all things good should be with you on your table. The child should not be running away, because everything good is with you. Next slide. So if the child is running away, that means you don't have the strongest reinforcements. There is somebody outside who's more interesting than you. So then you bring him in. Okay, bring that in and keep it next time when you're going to, so that you don't have to have that uphill battle with the child. Next slide. So you have paired the table, you have sanitized the room. Okay, you have to pair yourself. Okay, so it is only you who are going to bring all this, blowing the bubbles, making the child pop, say pop, pop. Okay, the child is hearing words as you are pairing the you and the table and the room with the child. Okay, next slide. From the pairing session, when can I transfer to the learning session? It has to happen naturally. The child starts asking for things. Ball. Okay, then the child has started learning. Introduce more and more. Blocks, puzzle. Okay, introduce those words so that the child can ask for what the child wants. Okay, then you can give it. Okay, so first you start the words that you teach your child should be the words that the child wants. Then it will work better than asking the child to tell amma, 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 because amma is already there. The child doesn't have to ask for amma. Okay, but a toy, yes, the child can ask. Okay, so next slide. Motivation is the key to the teaching. Okay, so reinforcements, keep the child happy, play with the child, just do what the child likes but with engaging activities. Next slide. The break time also should be an engagement time. You can take the child out for break, play in the natural environment, but there also jump. Okay, slide, all those things you can teach. Manding is teaching the child to demand. Okay, so slide, the child can point, that is also manding. Okay, next. So I have gone through roughly, I know there's a lot of information. Maybe you will get a recording of this. You can keep going through this. Okay, so behavior and speech. Okay, what is the connection? Why not only speech therapy is enough? Why other therapies are essential? Because language is also a behavior. Okay, next slide. I told you about verbal operants before. Okay, my child knows apple, but he's not asking for it. Okay, so when I'm showing flashcard, he can say apple, but when he wants apple, he's not asking. Okay, yes, you have, I would say you had 7 hills to cross. You have crossed the first hill. The child is labeling the item. Okay, so labeling is called tacting. You have to transfer this to manding. Okay, so you have the object and say, what is this? Apple. Do you want apple? Say apple. Then the child says apple. Okay, so what the child has achieved, some children achieve labeling first, some children achieve echoing first. Okay, from wherever they have started, go to the next one. Okay, but you have to use this only and teach the child to ask for the apple. Okay, so manding is demanding, asking for any item. Okay, so this is called listening comprehension. Okay, you have heard about reading comprehension. This is listening comprehension. The child knows exactly what apple is. Bring apple, child knows. Okay, so that is called receptive. Okay, receptive language, that is child knows what the child has to do, what the child has to pick up. Okay, so everything has to be done simultaneously. You can have 2 flashcards to 3 flashcards to teach labeling. You can have you can include do this. Okay, do this jumping. Okay, do this touching your head without saying touch your head. Okay, to teach the child imitation. Okay, and to teach the child following commands, you can say clap. Okay, so all these operands have to be mixed together on the table and done simultaneously. You cannot sit down and say, today I am going to teach labeling. No, the child will get bored. Okay, so 3 labeling, 3 actions. Okay, 3 echoes, 3 imitations. Okay, like that you can mix it up, and all the 3 also continuously you cannot do. You can ask, what is this? Touch your head, okay, clap your hands, all that makes up. Okay, this is a very fast run through. I am sure this is a little confusing for you, but I would ask you to go back and see a lot of videos on verbal operands and how to teach them. Okay, next slide. Okay, so as I already told you, mand. What is mand? Demand, requesting. So requesting can be for items that they want. Requesting can be for action. I want to swing. Requesting for attention. Requesting for information, things that they cannot see. Where is my shoe? So they can ask for shoe. So all these, so asking, okay, is the most important, and that should be the central target for your entire child's life. The child knows to ask for what they want, then they can be functional. Okay, and it will also reduce the problem behavior. Next slide. Echo. Okay, we can teach asking by first teaching the child to echo. Okay, say the word and ask the child to echo it. Okay, next slide. So they, you can teach sounds. Okay, you press the sound of a cow and say cow. Okay, smells, coffee. All this also can be, all senses can be introduced by labeling and echoing. Okay, and you can use a lot of prompts. Okay, you can use gestures. Come here. Okay, jump. You can use gestures. You don't only have to say jump. Okay, you can use gestures so to teach the child how to respond and do activities. Okay, and you should have a known box of 8 and an unknown box of 2, and take from both, and make sure that the child is not feeling like the child is a failure. Okay, and don't stick to a category and don't go in order. Head, shoulders, knees, toes. No. Head, knees, shoulders, head, toes. Okay, so you have to change the order, otherwise it will just be a rote learning. Next, don't go with vehicles, then I'll do what is it, plants, then I will do flowers. No, mix them up, because in the real world they're all mixed up. Okay, next slide. Intraverbals. Okay, I wanted to tell you that this is almost the last operand that you'll introduce, but sometimes it will happen simultaneously. You can try. Okay, fill in the blanks. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Okay, so the child can repeat. Okay, by visual stimulation, by video modeling. Okay, you can do that. You sleep in a, show a picture, bed. Okay, you can teach. What flies in the sky? Aeroplane. Okay, this is question answer and teaching the child how to converse. Conversation skills starts from intraverbals. Okay, but before that, before you start teaching this, you have to have star, bed, and aeroplane as a labeling skill. The child should be able to say, this is star, this is bed, aeroplane. Okay, then you can say, what flies in the sky, and show the picture. The child can say aeroplane. Okay, next slide. Visual imitation. There is no order in these operands. Everything should be done simultaneously. Okay, clap, raise arm, shake a shaker. Everything should be done. Even playing with the toy, imitation. Okay, how to build blocks. Everything should be done simultaneously. Opening a door, closing a door. Okay, social play. How do I know how to play with other children? Okay, by hold your hands. All that also can be taught as visual imitation. Okay, self-help, brush your teeth, can be taught as a visual imitation. Next slide. Okay, so don't stick to teaching flashcards. You'll have to do all these things simultaneously. Okay, and then listener responding, following instructions. Okay, next. Matching. Matching is a very important thing, because okay, before I touch the right thing, okay, it is very difficult to decide, choice. Okay, okay, it is easier for me to match, but every time I match, I'm looking through all 4. Okay, so I have 4 pictures and I'm looking through all 4 to match just this picture with the same picture. Okay, so I have more exposure to the picture, and every time I think what it is. Okay, even if you don't ask me, even if I'm not going to say the answer, I will think only and match. Okay, so matching you can do many times before you start asking the child to point, touch, okay, or label. Okay, next slide. There are some other terms which I'll just give you briefly. One, instructional training, that is giving the child instruction, following. Multiple controls, that is doing all these verbal operands simultaneously. Matching, okay, and then visual imitation, okay, and then following commands. Everything should be done on the table simultaneously, okay. You can't finish flashcards and then go to teaching the child to clap the hands. No, clap the hands and then touch nose in this, okay. So you have to mix it up, otherwise the child will not sit down, okay. And then transfer trials, that is when the child knows to match, you can go on to touch. So from one thing to the other, but first even if the child knows to match, you make the child match first. You are sure that the child knows to match, then immediately you ask the child to touch. Okay, yesterday the child matched, today I'm going to ask the child to touch. No, again you make the child match today, and then again, then you ask the child to touch. That is transfer trial. Error correction, okay. This is finger and this is elbow, okay. The child is getting confused, okay. The child is saying this is finger and the child is saying this is elbow, okay. You go back, take these two things, keep on repeating it along with balloon and car, okay, and make the child thorough that this is finger and this is elbow, okay. Then put this back in the known cards, okay. That is error correction. So you'll have to keep on doing. Okay, I thought you know this well, now you're getting confused, let me pull it out and do it again separately for some time. Then you're thorough, then I put it back in the file, okay. That is called error correction. You have to keep doing it. Say for example, your child knows pencil, pen, crayon, okay. Then the child gets confused, okay. The child knows pencil very well. When you introduce the crayon, the child is telling pencil for crayon and crayon for pencil, okay. Then you take pencil, pen and crayon and keep doing it again. Have 5 pencils, 5 crayons, 5 pens, and say, what is this? Pen. What is this? Pencil. Teach them again, okay. This is error correction, okay. So whenever you feel the child is falling, again pick it up and do it again, okay. There is no harm in keep on doing some things. If the child is not thorough, keep going back to it. That's called fluency training, okay. Next slide, okay. We are almost coming to the end, okay. I think the visual is not clear, but let me read it out to you, okay.
Sorry, I think I also skipped one,
yeah,
Doctor.
the previous slide, yeah.
Okay. I'm not able to go back to it. Just sorry.
No problem. No problem. Okay. So my child needs to write, my child needs to read, my child needs to go to school, okay. He's actually supposed to go to 3rd standard, okay. So I cannot agree that he's going to be in LKG now, okay. I'm sorry. If your child's developmental age is thus, it's better to have the child in a place where he's not given a lot of demands. He's only going to have problem behaviors, and he's not going to find motivation, and he's not going to move forward. Your child is going to be unhappy. I think that's not what you want for your child, okay. So before the academics, what is the big 3? Okay, the 3 big things that you should make sure your child gets before you think about even introducing academics. Number 1, reduce the problem behavior. Number 2, teach the child to ask for their needs, okay. It's very basic that a human being can ask for their needs. 3, going to the toilet on their own, okay. At least scheduling the toilet. I know when the child is going to go to the toilet, and so I can manage without accidents, okay. It's the most embarrassing thing even for the child to have an accident in a public place, okay. So child also does not like that. Child is going to get fussy if he is going to pass motion in his pant when he's outside, okay. So these 3 things are very essential for you to get into any school, for you to get into ask somebody to take care of your child for some time, okay. To go for a to the swimming pool, to go to the birthday party, you need these 3 things, okay. Reduce problem behavior, ability to request for their needs, and 3, toilet training, okay. I'm going to tell those 3 again. Please even write it down. Number 1, reduce problem behavior. 2, ability to request for their needs, and 3, independent or manageable schedule of toileting, okay. Next slide, okay. So so this is essential for inclusion. This is essential for engaging in other means of childcare, and you have this will help you to go and mingle in the society, okay. So you can see again the same thing, okay. Big 3 is more important than reading and math, okay. So you saw in the balance what is more heavier, what is more important is the big 3, okay. So I have given you a brief of the whole thing. So there are just some final points which I would finish up with just some reinforcements, then we can go for the questions. Okay, so that will be okay for the big three. Okay, problem behavior, I think I have spent enough time on that. Okay, then requesting needs, I think I have spent enough time on that. Now I'm going to spend a little time on toilet training. Okay, so can you go to the slide on toilet training? Okay, the target is complete independent bathroom routine up to the washing of hands. Okay, typically 3 years, daytime urine and bowel will be under the control of the child. By 4 years, the child will be able to do completely everything. Okay, next slide. So how do you do it? This is in a random fashion. I have put some tips. You can take a screenshot and try to arrange for these things. Okay, as I told you, teach the sub skills of toileting. Okay, teach them to label the toilet as a picture, show the toilet and ask them, teach them to point. Okay, then make sure the child is not comfortable in a wet diaper. Okay, so every 2 hours you start changing the diaper. The child gets the feeling of being dry. Okay, child gets used to being dry. Okay, only then the child want to stay that way. Okay, the child is used to being in a soaked diaper, child is never going to want to go to the toilet. Okay, then when you start toilet training, make sure that you are there in the house for at least for 3 weeks without any change in the routine, without anybody coming new. You're going to have a second baby. At that time, don't introduce toilet training for your first child. Okay, if there's going to be a change in routine, this will get disrupted. So at least for 3 weeks, you should be seeing the foreseeing feasible feature that there is no change in your schedule, and you start reducing the drinks so that you can start toilet training. Okay, schedule every 15 minutes. You can take every 45 minutes. You can take the child to the toilet. Okay, 15 minutes after the child wakes up, you can take the child for bowel movement. Okay, make sure the child can wear something that the child can remove easily without button snaps or belts. Okay, you can have reinforcements in the toilet. You can get a small potty ring so the child doesn't feel afraid to sit on the potty. Okay, keep on giving verbal reinforcements. Very good, good job. Okay, even coming with you. Then list the steps. Walk to the bathroom, open the door. Okay, switch on the light, walk to the potty, pull the pan down, sit on the potty. Okay, so every step can be told repeatedly. Okay, you can have a step stool so that the child can step on it and be comfortable sitting down. Next slide. Okay, these are more advanced ones. Okay, don't sit there for more than 5 minutes. Within 5 minutes, the toilet is not coming out. It's not going to come out. Okay, so just try for 5 minutes. If the child is not passing urine or motion, get up. That's enough. Don't push the child too hard. Okay, then your entire target is achieved if you are finishing with hand washing, dressing and undressing. That might take even 5 to 6 years. Okay, then if there are any accidents, don't scold the child. Okay, you have to rework, see what went wrong and go back and work on those sub skills. Okay, so child had difficulty pulling the pant down. This kind of pant, you have to make the child learn how to pull down this kind of a pant. Okay, so you have to repair and don't scare the child. Don't make the child understand that he has failed and it's okay, then he'll keep failing. Okay, constipation is one thing that can be a problem for toilet training. Make sure the child is not constipated by giving a lot of fiber and water. Okay, everything can be given clear instructions. You can use a photo album. So count the number of mugs of water. For boys, you cannot teach them two things, that is sitting and passing motion and standing and passing urine. It is very difficult. So even for boys, you can make them sit and pass urine. That will be much easier. Okay, and it's easier to watch from the front than from the back. Okay, and you can use picture books. There are a lot of story books where they introduce the child to potty training. You can use that, and you can even try to massage the tummy when the child is on the potty. Next slide. Okay, once you know that the child is following through, and when you have scheduled the time, the child is cooperating and going to the toilet, then you can try to teach the child to initiate, that is inform you that the child wants to go to the toilet. Okay, that time you increase the water so that you make sure that the bladder gets filled and the child has an opportunity to ask. But don't allow the child to fail. Look, and if you feel the child is wanting to go and the child is not asking, tell toilet, 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 and take the child to the toilet. Okay, when you're taking the child to brush the teeth in the morning, you can remove the underwear So child knows that the next destination is the toilet. Okay. Next. How can we teach non-vocal children? Okay, this was a question. Okay, I would like to say that even if you feel your child is non-verbal, they are actually verbal. Okay, if they cry for something, then asking for something, then they are verbal. Only thing they are not vocal. Okay, so all these steps that I told till now will apply to non-verbal children also to make them verbal. Okay, so same thing. Stop with the oromotor bad habits, bottles, sippers, pacifiers. Train the cups, train the food, solids. Address the big three. Okay, start with the most important words of demands. Pair a table, start the shoebox program, get the echoic control, and go on. Okay, next. Recovery possible for these children? Yes. What I have seen in my practice is if the child has been started on an intensive therapy at home with a strict schedule and assistance by professionals below 2.5 years, they have come out in flying colors. But even older children can achieve functional, much better function, and they can keep progressing. Okay, if you are going to give intensive therapy, if you are going to calculate and see what is going to come out of this activity. Okay, if I'm going to play with this toy for 1 hour, is my child learning anything useful? If you're going to think like that, you cannot achieve anything. Okay, so you'll have to go for the whole package. Okay, follow the all the rules, do all the accessories. Only then you will get the one main function to work. So don't go for speech therapy alone. Don't go for writing alone. Please make sure that you do all these things and then take the child for speech therapy. Make sure the child has enough time to play. Make sure the child eats the right way. Make sure the child is not sitting still on bottles, and then take for speech therapy. You're going to achieve this. Okay, next time. So you can change your child's life with only 15 minutes of pairing. So start with pairing. Okay, pairing a table, pairing yourself, pairing your room. Okay, next slide. So when a flower doesn't bloom, you don't blame the flower. Okay, you make sure that you nurture the flower with more water, or give the child the flower sunlight or manure. Next slide. So a child whose behavior pushes you away is a child who actually needs you more. And so if the child is pushing you away, then you understand that you're doing the wrong thing to connect the child. You have to do the right things and somehow get connected to the child. So I finished my presentation. So I think you can go for questions. I'm 45
yes, Dr.
minutes.
Manu, thank you so much for that. No, I think it's been extremely detailed, and I really enjoyed it, and I'm sure the rest of the audience did as well. There were a few questions that came up. I think whatever had come up during the registration, you, I think, answered most of them during your presentation itself. But there were some questions that came up in the chat box here as well, so I can probably take up a few of them. There was one question about functional activities that parents can do at home during the pandemic. I think one of the things you pointed out is, hey, why are you not involving them in day-to-day chores, right? And how kids actually enjoy working a lot more than probably we do. Anything else that you would want to add on top of that?
Yes. See, if you cannot involve the child in certain activities, like you're going to cut vegetables and you don't want the child to participate in using the knife, then you should have a timetable where at that time what the child is going to do. Okay, you should have a plan. There's plenty of material in the house. You don't have to spend money. Okay, the child will be very happy playing with sand. The child will be very happy playing with water. The child will be very happy mopping, cleaning. Okay, or just tapping on the table with a spoon and a ladle. Okay, but you have to plan it and make sure that it doesn't become a stimming. So the first thing I would say, how to engage a child during pandemic is have a plan. Sit down and write it down, discuss it with your family. Everybody can cooperate. All these things that I told you, the grandmother can do at home if your parents are going for work. It's very easy to pick up this shoebox for a grandmother, and it's very easy for a grandmother to say balloon, 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 and ask the child to put it inside. Okay, It's not difficult. So whatever I told you, even if the mother or father is not at home, even grandparents can do it at home. All these things grandparents can do. So what I would say is work it out for them, give it to them. See the strengths of the grandparents. The grandparents are good in doing puja. If the grandparents are good in story saying or chanting, let them try to introduce that. Let them do those things. Let the child get exposed to that. Okay. If the grandfather is fond of gardening, if the grandfather can take the child for a walk, all that are engaging activities. But you should have a plan. You cannot have the child, what is my child doing? My child is playing. No. My child is playing with grandfather with the sand and he's making shapes. Okay. So this is what you have to have in your timetable. Okay. So
Got it.
I hope I got you the answer.
Yeah, I think the participant is here. Please feel free if you have anything more specific. Please feel free to ask. But another question was, how do you teach yes and no to a child to start with, and then moving on to more complex decision making? How do you introduce that to a child?
See, you mentioned in the question itself that it's very complex. Okay.
Right.
So we don't go there straight away. You have to make sure that at least the child knows around 500 words of labeling. Okay. So the child
Mm,
knows you want to teach yes and no for is this a balloon? Is this a cake? Okay. Then the child should know this is balloon, this is cake. Okay. So then the child has enough vocabulary. The child is paired to the table. The child, what you can teach first is pictures. Okay. What the child can concretely see. The child cannot see yes, the child cannot see no. Okay. So teach the child what the child can see. Okay. After the child is paired with the entire process of sitting in the evening with my mother, and my mother is going to ask me some questions, I'm going to answer it. My mother will give me reinforcements, I'm going to enjoy. Okay. When you're there, then